Hi, I'm Kim Jamieson Hurst of Chatterbox Quilts, and today I'm taking a look at Buttermilk Basin's Ornament Extravaganza 2. Now, this is the second book that Stacey West has produced with patterns for wool ornaments, and there are 45 ornaments in this book. Now, while Stacey likes to work in wool, you could certainly make these ornaments in regular 100% quilting cotton as well, or even a combination of the two. So let's take a look at some of the ornaments in this book. So if you like a vintage vibe, this is the book you're really going to love, and I definitely do. I really enjoy Stacey's design aesthetic, and there is everything from reindeer to snowmen to Santa Claus to vintage baubles. Okay, so if you're looking for that vintage look in ornaments, this is it, because these are vintage ornaments, right? So these ornaments, they're all fairly small, right? So these range in size from 4.5 to 4 to, there's 3 of them here, to 3 inches by 6 3/4 for the longer one. And then this one here actually is 4 1/4 by 5 inches. So they're all about 6 inches and under. So let's take a look in a little more detail of these. So for each of the ornaments, Stacey has the full-size templates in the book. Okay, these are full-size. And what I really like is how she has the information about the hand embroidery stitches, because there are some hand embroidery stitches on these ornaments. You could use the decorative stitches on your sewing machine if you wanted to. I just need to break the cats up because they're obviously not interested in the ornaments. But what I also like is how she shows you the underlap here. So these ornaments are made with fusible web applique. And so in fusible web applique, you want to make sure that the pieces, when you put them together, overlap, so there are no raw edges showing that might fray. So in all her templates, she will show you a dotted line, and that is, you will actually be tracing along that line on the fusible web, but that part is actually going to slide under another fabric piece. So I really like that she's included this detail. As far as the hand embroidery stitches that she shows, she has a legend here, an embroidery key, that shows you what those stitches are. And later in the book, she'll show you how to do those stitches. So they're very basic, simple hand embroidery stitches. But as I mentioned, you could use the decorative stitches on your sewing machine if you wanted to do that instead. Another one I thought was really cute is this gingerbread lane. So you've got the gingerbread girl, the gingerbread boy, and the gingerbread house. Now you'll also see that there's sometimes some details with little buttons, some embellishments. So she's putting little buttons. So if that's the case, she has indicated where the buttons would go on those projects. So again, that's very helpful for you. And it's a chance for you to use those really little tiny buttons that you may have in your button stash. Hopefully I'm not the only one. Okay. This particular one here is called Forest Folk, and a lot of these are in trios, as you can see, 3 different designs. Here you've got the little squirrel with the pine cone and on the pine tree. You've got some pine cones, and then you've got the little chickadee. Again, really sweet. Note that some of the wool she uses here has a different design on it. You can see this in the squirrel's tail and the inside of the bow here. So it's not just plain color wool that she's using. She likes to use wool that has some different designs on it, gives a little more interest to the ornaments. I thought these were really interesting. She calls them round and round. Again, there's 3 different designs. What's interesting on these is how she's putting them on this open circle. So they actually go on that circle, and when you hang them up, you're going to see through what you may hang them on. Here she's showing them with these like whisk brooms, really, which is kind of a fun detail, I think, very vintage looking. And here you've got an old grate, like a floor grate. Okay, so kind of interesting display ideas in the book as well. The nice thing about these small ornaments is it doesn't take long to create them, it doesn't take much wool, and if you are doing hand embroidery, it doesn't take very long to stitch them up. Now, I've got to love this one, of course, Woof, Squeak, and Meow, with the dog, the mouse, and the cat. The only thing I find slightly disturbing about these is their eyes a little bit, but you could do something a little different there if you didn't want them to look quite as shocked looking, maybe. The mouse is fine, I think, but the cat and the dog looks a little shocked. So you might want to change that a little bit. That's just a personal opinion. Now, before I go into any more of these, I just wanted to mention something you may have noticed different on my Chatterbox Quilts YouTube channel. Underneath the videos, if you've been following me for some time, you may have noticed there's a new symbol there. It's a heart with a $sign inside. And that is your opportunity to support Chatterbox Quilts for as low as $2. If you follow me all the time and you enjoy my videos and find them helpful, it's a way to support my channel. It allows me to buy the products I need to produce these free videos for you. So if you wanted to give me a thank you, that is one way you can do it. And if you did, I would truly appreciate it. One of the other designs she has in here is Home for the Holidays. Now, this has houses. Surprise, right? Homes in there and some trees as well. These are really cute, and I could see some of these ornaments. This would be one of the cases where you might want to use one of these like this and have a garland. So you might have the house, a tree, you know, that type of thing, and have them as a nice garland that would put on the wall or around your fireplace if you have one. I think that would be a nice idea, and a lot of these ornaments I could see putting them together and using in that manner. On Dasher, on Dancer, so we have some reindeer, of course. We have no Rudolph here, but you could substitute one of the little black noses. You could put a red one in instead, and that could be Rudolph. Just very sweet. And again, you could make more of these, and that would be a cute garland too. Cookie exchange. This is a fun one, I thought. So you've got the icing on the cookies here, the different designs on them, and the little, you know, holly leaves behind. Very sweet. Again, garland. Okay, I'm thinking too many garland ideas here. Okay. But when you look at a book like this and you have all these different designs, sure, they're for ornaments. That's how she's telling you to make them. But you could certainly put them on a placemat, mug rug. You could make a table runner with different ones in as well. So lots of different ideas. And I like that, where you can take a book and see the different designs and think, I could use them in different ways, because it just expands what you can do with those designs in the book. And this is a really good book for doing that type of thing. This one here is a North Pole Express. So you've got these little trains, really cute, with the little wheels in the green and white, and the red and white look like little candies on them. Again, not very large. And wouldn't this make a cute garland? Yes. Okay, I've got to stop saying that, right? Garlands are just fun. This one here is Santa's boots. You've got the 3 different boots here. This is a bit of a different design, I think. And when I'm looking at some of these, I'm seeing this poinsettia here again. I could just take that poinsettia out and use that, you know, maybe make a placemat and just have the poinsettia in the bottom corner. I think would be really sweet. So lots of ideas coming to mind when I'm seeing these, besides the ornaments in the book, which are, of course, super cute. And at the back, I did mention to you before that she has some information about how to do the wool applique. She talks about different types of wool. She talks about the method she uses to get them onto, you know, the wool onto the projects, which is fusible web applique. She also talks about the type of thread she uses and floss, and she gives you detailed instructions on how to put these together. And she also gives you a quick little basic information about the embroidery stitches. And if you are looking for information on embroidery stitches, on basic hand embroidery stitches, I have several videos on that, so you can check above. I'll put a link there, or in the description below the video I'll have a link there as well. So if you want to make some wool ornaments and you love that vintage vibe, I highly recommend you take a look at Buttermilk Basin's Ornament Extravaganza 2. And if you want more details on it, check the description below, because I'll put a link to where you can see more about that book. Thanks for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to share it with your quilting friends. And remember to subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified when I next release a video. And before you go, check out these other videos I've included just for you. For more quilting information, please go to my website at www.chatterboxquilts.com. There, good girl.
Yes, it is.